LooseCast. As an international edition, we are joined today by Ian Van Dahl. Yes!
The legend.
And Aaron Bamford, your number one fan, couldn't make it because he's too hungover and tired. So we've also got Phil Burns in, chair number 3. Good to see you, mate.
I'm going to defend Aaron a little bit.
Yeah.
So we wanted to get... He's still a prick. But there goes the no swearing out the window, doesn't it? So obviously we'd had a chat with Ian for a while about getting him on. Obviously Phil, who's jumped in for Aaron today, legend, we appreciate it. He'd obviously said as well, like, we're going to make it happen. And then we finally spoke last night that you're up for coming on today, and we were like, amazing. Obviously, Anthem is super busy at Notch this week because it opens on Thursday, and he's a man on a mission at the minute in the kitchen. So Anthem wasn't available, so we messaged Aaron Bamford mid Loose Days staff party last night, and he was like, mate, I'm so drunk. He was like, I'll try everything, but like, I don't know if I can do it. And he was absolutely gutted, but he's too hungover, he can't hack it, and he's missing his idol.
A good one to have.
It would.
Being hungover.
Well, Aaron... You said if you could have a dream podcast, you would want Ian on, and you've missed it. So his loss.
So the reason we were talking about last time with Aaron was that you went to Empress, Dean's bar that you've just taken over. Dizzee Rascal was performing like a tiny little intimate thing, and you turned up and then did some DJing afterwards. Yeah. How did that come about?
It's how any party, decent party goes about, you just show up and you say, oh, this is a good vibe, you want to jump on, yeah, why not? And you do it, the atmosphere was good, so it's old school. It's how it always was, old school.
Yeah, well, I think Phil gets a bit of credit from this as well, don't you? Because you had messaged us saying you're coming down with Ian to watch Dizzee.
So I got Ian down there for to watch Dizzee Rascal and for a night out, basically, for a few drinks. Yeah. And before he arrived, I said, you do obviously have your memory stick. He went, Phil, of course. I've always got my memory stick, so I'm ready. And then it just happened, didn't it? You were up for it, and you wanted him up there, and it just happened. We talked about it just before we started. Episode 30, great memory. Episode 30, the Empress podcast. And we said, obviously, you'd mentioned that you might jump on, so we started putting it in the WhatsApp groups, and everyone was like, oh my God, yes. And then all of a sudden you walked out, and everyone was like, no, where's he going? And I go move your card. Your card, didn't you?
Yeah.
So we're laughing at
the party was closing. I was like, oh fuck, because if I didn't move the car, I was stuck in Newcastle until 6 o'clock. So
which wouldn't have been a bad thing. Well, it happens to us a lot.
This is my next question. I'm also really pleased that you're here today. But my question to Dean was like, does Ian Van Dahl just live in Newcastle and I'm unaware of this?
This is what everybody asks. Like constantly here, aren't you?
Yeah. Well, basically, yes and no. So officially,
for tax purposes, no.
No, I actually live up in Walton.
Where's that?
Moped.
Oh, okay. Yeah, nice.
With my missus. So,
nice.
So, and I travel from England to Belgium. So I have to be in Belgium from time to time, and then I go back and forth. But yeah, the thing is, if you're locally somewhere, you have your life locally. Yeah. But for example, for myself, I had 118 flights last year. Oof. Just last year. So if you ask me, where do you live?
Yeah.
Ollie James, who did the last podcast, claimed he was Mr. Worldwide. That title has been removed. The real Mr. Worldwide. Nice.
But it was always a good base, Newcastle, wasn't it? So
yeah. No, I like the atmosphere. It's I don't know. It's close. It's not similar, like I have my culture and England has their culture, but up north I like the vibe. I like the whole. It's different than London, for example. Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's different than Manchester, and it's close to Belgium. So I pretty much like everything about it, aside the food and the weather. But
however, we are dragging him.
So basically, any food in England. No. Basically, if it's not English, then it's good. Yeah. But so
you're not a fan of fish and chips?
You have good Indian and you have good Chinese, but like
tell them the Indian fact.
But English food is.
Ian, can I just say? But you were going to say we have good American food over in Durham as well at Notch. You were going to say because we were just talking about that, and I'm dragging them there after.
Yeah. But you said I'm invited, so I have to go there and test it.
No, it is.
A good American food is good.
There we go.
I like the slow cooked ribs and stuff like that.
Tell Dean how many Indian restaurants are in the whole of Belgium.
Yeah.
And how many
can we guess? Because you normally produce these questions.
Yeah, I was in what was it, Whitley Bay? Whitley Bay, and then I was like, how many Indians are in just Whitley Bay? And then it was like 12 or 13 Indians in Whitley Bay. I'm like, that's more than whole Belgium.
Really?
I mean, I feel like the national dish of Belgium is chips with mayonnaise, though. So,
Well,
what are you calling as the national dish to be heralded as amazing from Belgium?
what do you mean?
What's the best thing? Like, what is the food that you miss most from Belgium?
Chocolate's gotta be.
Yeah, chocolate is good.
Okay.
Chocolate.
I'm sold, by the way, on chocolate.
To be honest, I'm not 100% Belgium. I'm like a bastard. I'm a little bit mix of everything.
Okay,
right.
Because my grandmother is African, my father is Greek, my mother is Belgium. My grandfather was from the Turkish side in Greece, so it's a mixture of everything.
Yeah, which national team do you support?
Well, Belgium, because
they're the best out of all them.
Yeah, but the team itself is also a mixture of people.
Yeah,
so it represents how I am. You know, it's a bit of mixture of everything. So, but our food, for example, what we would eat at home would be Mediterranean. So. And I would say that's the best.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, I love Mediterranean.
He's a very good cook, by the way. Not that I've tried anything yet.
I wouldn't know if I'm a good cook or not. I've never cooked to even try it out.
I can tell you you're not. This is the man who orders omelettes in from Chinese takeaways.
Unbelievable. Don't laugh, they're nice. And also, it's chicken omelettes I order.
Oh, that makes it
massive
okay.
difference.
Yeah, that makes
massive difference.
I want to ask
you. Never ordered the... Okay, let me ask you.
Yeah.
If you go to the Chinese restaurant,
Yeah.
what menu did you get?
You don't know this yet. Chicken omelette and chips.
Always the same.
Always chicken omelettes and chips. But I get prawn crackers.
It's pretty diverse.
So you don't ask for the Chinese menu?
No.
You should ask. If you go to a Chinese restaurant, ask the Chinese menu.
Okay.
He just to ruin this for
different.
you, Ian. He doesn't go to Chinese restaurants.
No?
I just order on Deliveroo.
He goes to Nando's and Wagamama's. That's it.
It's like
True.
Mickey Modell. He goes to Nando's all the time.
Right.
I think 3 times a week.
I'll see him there.
You would be his best friend.
You can cheers your black cards. I want to ask this question because it's a personal one. I Googled this before I came here and I was looking for the story of Castles in the Sky. So I would love any version that you want to tell of how that record came about. How long did it take you? My friend used to do a podcast series, Paul Ridney, and he used to do Secrets of a Dance Hit, and it was great. Yeah. Some of the stuff that I listened to and the things I learned about were incredible. So did this record, was it one of those ones that, and it always does my head in when I hear this, people go, oh yeah, I wrote it in about 15 minutes, and then it would just turn into a worldwide global super hit.
Yeah, but the reality is that every song is written in 15 minutes. But most of them are crap. But basically, so I did tell the story, but it was in Dutch.
Okay.
So that's probably why you didn't find it.
Did not.
But...
So is this an exclusive?
Was that
an English exclusive?
Is it called Music Express, that channel? I think I've seen some of that guy's stuff before. It's really good. Is it? Was it a YouTube thing that you did?
Yeah, but I think it's Twan.
Okay.
But yeah. I only remember I was wearing an orange shirt. It was horrible. I'm like, why did I wear that shirt? But it's okay. But basically, it's like every song that we did. So you just have ideas and you start with random things. But
you start with a piano sequence.
No, I think if I remember correctly, because it's a long time ago.
Yeah.
So I'm old. So if I remember correctly, so there's a couple of projects I did because I do a lot of projects. So there's a couple of projects I do on my own.
Yeah.
But the Ian Van Dahl project was with my neighbor, Erik van Sporen.
Okay.
Yeah. So we actually lived across the street, but literally across the street. And he came ringing my door and he says, I think you make music because I hear it. So he could hear me, but I couldn't hear him.
Okay.
So
he had better soundproofing is what we're saying.
Yeah, I played it much louder. So, and we started, working together on little demos and all that. And it resulted in us doing a couple of songs.
Yeah.
And I remember with the Ian Van Dahl, so basically we just were making records, but it wasn't any Ian Van Dahl project at that moment. Yeah, I remember I got in the house, and he had a sequence running, and it was just a and I think it was, if I'm correct, the Yamaha CS6X.
Okay.
The sound. And I said, I like that sound. I like the bass. Yeah. Why don't we make a melody from it? But it was a staccato on it, so I took it off and then I just played the chords with it. So it was, and then it just did, and that was basically it until the break. Yeah. And then you just add stuff. But
so you didn't write it to the vocal. The vocal came later. No. You didn't write it.
We mostly did first the music.
Yeah.
The problem with dance music is the beats and the sounds and everything are so important that if you have a vocal line and you want to build the music around it, it doesn't always fit. Yeah. While if you have something, because dance music is dance music, so if you have something that you say, oh, this vibe is really good, it's easier to layer it with vocals. Yeah. I don't say it doesn't work otherwise. You know, there is people who work in a different way, but from my experience, it works best if I just put music and then just put.
So was the track then? Was it then signed as an instrumental, or did you then go and find the vocal before you?
So what happened is it's like a puzzle. It's hard to explain, but sometimes when you make something, it's like, oh, you bump into sounds and like, oh, that works and that works and that works, and then it goes just like it just happens. Yeah. So you have that that melody. So it went, oh, good. Maybe you can use that melody, but then change a little bit of the, do a different chord progression in the break. Yeah, and then have like a proper JD 8000. I think. Yeah. The lead sounds, that one, and then the that was the Nord lead sound 26.
Amazing memory.
So, but it works, and then it goes. It's like a flow, and you're like, oh fuck, this is good. And we had several singers that already came to the studio, to work on demos and all that.
Session singers,
Well, not really session, just talented people that we said, oh, that's, let's try something. And we got Marsha in, and we did the hook on it and recorded it.
Did you guys write it, or did she write
we all
together collaborated on it and just wrote the hook?
I thought the song does have, not only has it got the mega catchy, memorable chorus, the verses are good. And everybody remembers the verses as well. It's not just a great chorus, it's got great...
Basically, Castle in the Sky is the impossible dream.
Okay.
I thought it was funny because, like, Ian Van Dahl, everybody... Basically, Ian Van Dahl it's derived from Jan Van Dahl.
Okay.
Yeah. So Jan Van Dahl, it's actually... There's a song in Belgium about Jan Van Dahl. And basically, it is kind of like an average Joe. So the normal person.
Yeah.
That's how they call in Dutch, like Jan Van Dahl. Yeah. But I already had a project called DJ Jan. Yeah. So I said I can't use Jan twice. So I made it Ian. Yeah. And then Van Dahl, it's one word. We made it 2 words because back in the days you had Paul van Dyk, Niels van Gogh. So we were like, oh, we have to do something like that. It has to be cool like that. So we put Ian Van Dahl, made it 2 words, 3 words, and then Dahl, we wrote it like Roald Dahl, the writer. So it's recognizable. And that's it.
And what was, so then you've got this record, you've got the name. Do you then, is it instantly signed by someone? Are you starting to play it out? Are you giving it to other DJs or?
No, I had a deal. So I was signed with EMI back in the day. So when I was 18, I already got signed with EMI. With a sub-label, but it was part of EMI. And I had 3 demos and all of them. So one of them was a club hit. The other one was the biggest selling trance record of the year in 1996. And then the other one was a top 10 and the number 1 in Spain, top 20 in Germany. So I was already doing well. So the label was always asking for, so I was making a couple of Euro. So people don't know it in England because it was Eurodance. I think in the 90s and early 2000s, you actually had like two different streams of music.
Yeah.
You had the UK scene and then you had the Euro scene. Now it's all one. But back in the days, it was pretty much separate. Yeah.
You know about like the ZYX type stuff.
Yeah. So when I had the records, they were all doing well in Europe, but not really in England. So that's why people didn't know me in England, but they were pretty well known in Europe. So I did all these Euro projects, and then all the DJs that were signed with the label, I made their records. So the label was always, I could just make something and go to the label and
they might use it for a different artist.
Yeah, but I have to be honest, the label didn't like any of the records ever. Because people always say, well, it's a hit, it's a hit, yeah? Honestly, the label didn't like any. I had comments on every record. So when I did Castles in the Sky, I went to the label, I showed them the record, and the first thing they said is, can't it be like Moose T, Horny? Because that's the number one at this moment. And I'm like, yeah, but that's the point. I said, what we wanted to do is have a trance record, but make it accessible for radio and everything by putting vocals on it. Yeah, so I thought it was a nice mixture. I think a lot of trance people hate me for that. To make it commercial. But
just going to say more commercial trance.
Yeah, but I made it accessible for the.
And how did it happen? Was it one of those things that was a hit overnight, or was it something that was released?
What they did is this. It's funny. It's like, okay, you know what? We'll just add it to the sampler. So back in the days, the labels had samplers, and they would go to like Midem and these conventions where all the labels come together, and then they would show and then they all had the requests for their records, so they realized like, oh, we have something. So then all of a sudden they started changing because the DJs were playing it. Ferry Corsten and Tiesto and Armin. All these were playing it.
What date was this?
Yeah, 2000. I met the demo in 2000. So by 2000, 2001, all the guys were playing it. So then they had to sign it, and then they had to release it. Yeah, and it's the same with the next one. So when I did Will I? Yeah. So basically, you're in the charts.
Yeah,
which is funny because. They never expected. I got signed with New Life with Dave Pearce.
Yeah.
So Dave Pearce signed the record for England. It got released, and they didn't expect too much from it. And then it entered at number 5 or something in the charts. Yeah, I remember the call from the label, and they were like, great, great news. We're number 5. We got in at number 5. Now make the second single.
Yeah,
that's it.
You've got 3 weeks.
You got 3 weeks.
I always had a question about Will I, and what I love is the chorus is at the beginning. So how did that all come about? There's very, very few songs start with the chorus.
Well, there was a time problem. So what happened is with Will I is when we did Castles, so you get the 6 weeks to make the second single. And in Germany, you had the show called Viva, Club Rotation. It's kind of like the German MTV.
Got you.
And they would do a club night. So what they would do is like have a performance at the club and then film it and then broadcast it. So they wanted us to perform there. But then they're like, yeah, but we müssen 2 Nummer. They wanted 2 numbers, 2 songs.
Yeah.
I'm like, when is it? Yeah, next week. So we just had to quickly make something. So that's when
that's why the chorus is at the start, because it's all they had.
It gives impact
so then we made Will I, and we put it on. Label didn't like it, but we played it, and we actually had more response in Germany from the second one than from the first. So then we're like, okay, we'll do it. So then they released that one. But it's always like, we want, you make something and they're like, but the second single has to be like Castles. I said no, because I don't want it. Because I don't want, people that make a song, a hit song, and then the next song is just exactly the copy, but different notes.
I feel like LF System are stuck in that trap at the moment. Like they're just constantly being made to release these disco callback records. But I've seen them DJ. They don't play that stuff out.
A different style of song. I remember Mambo Number 5, remember?
Oh, yeah.
The follow-up single to that was virtually exactly
Mambo
the
number
same.
6. Classic.
So, no, it was just
And
too
I didn't want to do that. I wanted to be like a proper project with different songs, with different styles. So we did Will I, we don't like it, but then, the club reactions were good. The Germans were like, we need to this, So you release it, gets in the charts, everybody happy. Then you make the third single. I did Reason. Yeah. Again, same response. Oh, it's so simple. Because it's like I said, yeah, but that's the point. Because the bounce, at that time the bounce was getting popular and all that. So it was what felt good for the clubs.
Yeah.
But and then still released it, and then and it was like constant fight with the labels. Like,
I was going to say, and then it must be so different for you as well, because you're in so many different countries. Probably the sound is, like you said before, it is different in different. So you're probably getting told different things from different directions.
Because when I get booked, I have to change my set depending on where I go. So
when you come in Newcastle, do you go a bit Raja for us?
but for example, like Pretty Green Eyes, it's an absolute classic here. Absolute. If I would play it in Scandinavia, everybody would be like. And I love the song and I like to play it, but it wouldn't work there. But then, for example, if you play in Belgium and you play retro in Belgium, like the classics in Belgium, it's totally different. Like none of them would work here.
So with that, I guess for you personally, where's the most fun country to play at, where you can play the style that you want to play?
Oh, I don't mind. I think the fun is in the balance. The fun is actually in the fact that you can change depending on where you go. I think
not all DJs are that versatile though. Like I've toured and met people, and they kind of have like 13 tracks on their USB stick.
Play off a set,
So I mean, and
I've seen Ian do a million gigs, and he tailors it.
That's the same,
yeah. But for example, the problem is I can't judge for other people. Yeah, so I can't tell them what job to do or whatever. I can just only vouch for myself and see how I work. Yeah. And I want to be honest and I want to be fair. I don't want to be home and prepare everything and say, okay, this is how I'm going to do it. And it's perfectly timed, because it never happens like you want it. Yeah. For example, I did a gig in Denmark, Vielska, which is like a 90s festival, but it's like a tour. Yeah. And there is like warm-up DJs. Well, not warm-up, but like in between acts, you have like a DJ that fills the gaps. Yeah. And this guy was playing every tune I wanted to play. All of them. But I'm like a DJ. If somebody played a track, I'm not going to play it.
Right.
So I don't like the DJs that jump in 5 minutes before they have to go on and then play the same track that was just played 10 minutes ago. So I go in an hour before my gig. To hear what everybody's playing. So they played all the tracks I wanted to play. So now they're like, now is you, go on. And
just as Castles in the Sky is dying out in the background.
Well, I was going to say this as someone
I changed my whole set I'm like, okay, put the USB and then played the whole different set.
As someone who's not a DJ, so I don't know the answer to this, have you ever had that where, like you say, someone who's been on before, I know you just joked about it there, but has that ever happened where they ployed one of your songs before, so like you're then like, oh well, now I can't even play that?
Yeah.
So like, do they try and do it like a little polite nod to you, or do they...
Look, for some projects, I understand, like for some tracks, I understand that they don't know it's me. Yeah? Right. Like for example, DD Forever.
Right.
Yeah, that's also mine track.
Right.
So I would probably play that one, but the DJ probably wouldn't know that I would.
Yeah, and if you're warming up for Ian Van Dahl, then you're a bit like, well, if you don't know, by the way, if you know, then you shouldn't do it. But if you don't know, then
a lot of DJs have done it, haven't they, over the years, to have the big balls syndrome. And it just ruins the night for everyone's experience.
I try to be polite. I'm always polite to people. So when they play it and they look at me, I'm like...
Yeah, well, that's why it was really good. It was really good a couple of weeks ago that Dizzee Rascal was respectful and didn't do Castles in the Sky before you came on, Empress.
So you're performing for LooseFest Presents 90s Baby.
Yes.
At the first weekend, the Sunday of August.
The Sunday.
And so you're going to be doing this 90s thing. My question to you is about this 90s thing, and you play a lot of these 90s revival, however you want to call them. Do you stick to only playing records that were released in the 90s at these events, or do you move around a little bit and like...
Well, I'll try to, or I try to, that it's like, even if it's matchups, that it's still a 90s record in it.
Yeah.
So you would play, Too Unlimited, but then with a newer song, but it still has a connection to the 90s. Yeah.
Well,
so, but to be honest, Ian Van Dahl is not even a 90s project.
I didn't want to bring that up personally.
Yeah,
but
I'll try to stay on the edge, in between
Do you play the original on these type of 90s revivals thing, or do you play a new?
No, I try
version?
It's a mix. It just what sounds the best. So there's some proper good producers who make proper good mashups. Yeah. So I get sent a lot of tracks, and there's actually some decent stuff. So I try to, the only thing I do is I edit every song I have.
Yeah.
There is none original. Every song is edited. Because you play it and you're like, it should have been, shorter there, longer there. So I edit all the songs.
Well, the good news is for everyone who came to see you at LooseFest in 2022, your arena was too busy and people couldn't get in the back bit. So obviously, unfortunately, we know what happened last year, but this year your arena is even bigger than it was in 2022. So more people get to see you this time, even though now there'll be pressure on you to debate whether that's from the 90s or not.
But you mentioned me a while ago, because your hits were hits all over the world, you're very lucky you can travel the world and do all these gigs. Some people are just exclusive to the UK because they only have hits in the UK.
But love that you keep coming back to Newcastle.
Yeah, I have to.
That's where you live, as we found out.
Has your love of, I know you've been part of loads of projects, lots of records, but a lot of people watching this certainly will know Castles in the Sky the most. Yeah. Have you kind of had has there been a point when you've been annoyed with it? Have you always loved playing it? Is it something that every single set you're like, great? Have you gone through periods when you're like, I'm not going to play this, and then people get annoyed?
I think, look, a lot of artists, I think, have a love-hate relationship with their hits. Yeah, but I'm very, what's the English word?
I don't want to put words in your mouth.
I appreciate the success it had and where it helped me going.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and you have to keep that in mind. You have to keep in mind that people, when they come to a gig, they paid to get there. They want to hear your songs, so you play them. Yeah. It's basics, You can say, but I don't want to do this, and but the thing is, what's the alternative?
Yeah.
I mean, if you're honest, it beats any other job. It beats being, whatever, a truck driver. It beats, any other, you have to, the fact that you can have your hobby as a job, that must be the trigger for everything.
Yeah.
And that's how I look. That's how I look at everything. Like you do a gig and you get back at 5 o'clock in the morning, and you have to leave at 9 to go to the airport, for example. You can say, I'm so tired, I don't like this. Yeah, but is it really? I mean,
there was that great DJs complaining Twitter, wasn't there, a few years ago?
You could be in the fields, having to
dig
trenches and all that. So, I mean, compared, it's a luxury lifestyle, period, So, and it's not even the money. The fact that you can do what you want, do what you love every single day, that's the only thing important. I never looked at music as something to make money. Never. So it's interesting, and with success comes sometimes some kind of reward, but your initial idea should be about the music and your love for music. I just love music, if it was about money, I would say, well, give me some money, I'll play at Empress. You know what I mean? But I don't. I just jumped on because it was. Do you know what I mean? And it's this with everything. Yeah. Like I get every couple weeks I get people text me and email me like, "Oh, we don't have your rider. We don't have your rider." I said, "Yeah, because I don't have one."
I've got a question. Did you have much influence over the videos for the tracks, or was it mainly just all down to the label?
I only pay the invoice. That's it.
They just take out the back.
Some ideas in?
I actually saw the documents. They deducted like £500,000 on videos from me. Yeah, but all while in my contract says no deductions, so they couldn't even deduct it. So
can I just say, Ian's actually in Castles in the Sky video from back.
I remember,
yeah. It was freaking cold.
Where was it filmed?
It was freaking cold. It was like a sulfur factory or something in Germany.
Okay.
Midwinter, it was like -10 or -15 degrees, but we had to act like it was summer. So we had a shirt on, but everybody was freezing, so we had a little heater, and everybody was like behind the little heater with the blanket, and it's like, okay, jetzt bist du an. And then it was like, whoop, and then
pretend it's July. And then what sort of stuff are you loving that's coming out now? Like, I appreciate you play some of these 90s gigs, but you also do all types of different gigs all over the world. What kind of music, what kind of artists, what kind of tracks are you really enjoying that's coming out recently?
Like the music I like from others, you mean?
Yeah, like what is there anything that's come out in the last few years that has inspired you?
I like everything. I like everything. Look. It's in regards of my DJing, for example. People know me as Ian Van Dahl, so they book me and they expect the Ian Van Dahl. So basically, that's just one of my aliases.
Yeah.
But I like every kind of music. For example, I do a lot of film and TV music. I do a lot of production for other artists. Yeah, and that's how That's why you say, "Oh, isn't it boring to do all the same thing?" But because I do all these other projects and all these other styles of music, the music still keeps being interesting. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So in regards of other styles, I'm open for any songs. Like I love all styles. It could be urban, it could be dance, it could be, so it could be, for example, like I like how the revival is now with Chase and Status and Subfocus and all these things. Yeah. So I like that. It's really nice. But I also like a lot of the urban stuff. Music is music. A nice song can be a nice song no matter what style it is.
You were telling us before we started filming about Artist Tribe, which I think you do a lot of writing camps all over the world. Have you ever written in Nashville? You ever used those kind of country songwriters and stuff? 'Cause I know there was a period, especially when Avicii touched on that kind of sound. Have you ever done anything in Nashville, like songwriting wise?
No, never been to Nashville.
Really?
Yeah, I'm sorry.
That's just kind of surprising because they a lot of some of the best songwriters.
I did a country dance song.
Amazing.
So
what's it called? Because we'll link it below. If it was Cotton Eye Joe, I'll eat my hat.
These guys actually, I hang out with them. They are actually really cool, these guys. But no, it was. Let's see. It was a demo. I never released it. I still have to find a home for
amazing.
It. But it was,
please send me it.
But it was like I was putting possum on the Barbie and all these things and driving with my truck next to the Mississippi.
Get out the bin for Cotton Eye Joe. Surely still has to be one of the greatest lyrics of all time.
Oh, brilliant. That's good. Good you brought up about the training camps. Do you want to elaborate a little bit more on it?
The writing camps that you're doing.
So together with Jamie Lee Harrison, who is actually from Newcastle,
right,
and Rob Porter,
he is ex-Pick Pandas.
Yes, yeah, ex-Pick Panda. So we started this venture called Artist Tribe, and it's basically independent songwriting camps. So we get producers.
Is Jamie Lee Harrison the guy that was on X Factor?
Yes.
Yeah, amazing. Yeah, I know him.
Yes, great voice.
Yeah.
So great lads. So and his dad is football manager, I think.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, I think he brought in what's his name? The Belgium guy.
De Bruyne?
The best player for Newcastle.
Oh, for Newcastle. He was Belgium
Philippe
at Newcastle.
Albert.
Do you remember that time we were in digital?
Wasn't it Philippe Albert?
Oh, yes,
wow.
yes.
I see. I know my players from Newcastle. Why don't you don't know?
I'm a Middlesbrough fan.
Okay.
Oh, I know, unfortunately.
Yellow Vossen.
Famous
You know that-
Belgian
you know
players from Middlesbrough?
know-
Famous Belgian players from
Jelle
Middlesbrough?
Vossen?
Yeah, you know
Jelle-
that his father was my coach.
No way.
Yeah, when I played academy, Jelle Vossen's father was my
No
coach.
way.
What position did you play?
Forward.
Forward.
I'm a failed goalkeeper, but Jelle Vossen, that was the year Middlesbrough got promoted. No, the year before Middlesbrough got promoted. So Jelle Vossen was at Middlesbrough.
You've set him off now.
In
This is a 10 minute- 10 minute
in
fucking-
2015.
Yeah,
that was
I
when he was there. He was on loan at Middlesbrough, and then he went back to his team, and it was one of them hashtags on Twitter. Everyone was like #free Jelle Vossen because we wanted to get him back.
No,
for his
it's
club.
good.
And-
His dad was good. I met him and his dad and all that. Yeah. It was forward.
yes, very good player.
Yeah,
very
that,
good player.
that time in digital, remember? And that's the first time I met Jamie. You were doing a big set. It was packed. It was an official Clubland event. And Jamie, you just give the mic to Jamie and he started singing over the top.
Yeah, but that's the best parties.
Spur of the
The
moment.
ones that you don't think too much about. Look, after a while, you know the same. If you're DJing for years and years, everything's automatic, so you can do other stuff.
Yeah.
So you don't mind if you have to do a selfie while you're mixing and getting other people. It's just part of it. So, but that's the best parties are the ones like that. Yeah. I think one of your podcast people was, I think, was it Nano who got on Patrick Topping's? Was it who got on Patrick Topping's set?
Or Tazo, the MC?
Yeah, one of the MCs.
Yeah.
And he
Oh,
said,
NATO, sorry.
Yeah, it was NATO, yeah.
With the beard.
Yeah. So NATO was saying, I was doing, and then they said, jump on. And then, but that's the parties that are the parties, these are the ones.
Unexpected.
Yeah.
I've failed, by the way. I've done a quick Google search. I can't find out who Jamie Lee Harrison's dad is, so we'll have to find that out after.
Oh, I'm sure you can ask him.
We can ask him. Yeah, please let us know on that.
Well, I guess his last name is Harrison.
I've tried. I can't. I've failed. But if we find out that, I'm curious with that one.
Okay.
I've got a question for you. If there's any budding, I'm sure there is a lot of budding DJs out there. There's a lot of DJs out there generally these days. If they want to make, how do they get to the next stage? Do they have to produce to become a big DJ these days? Have you got any tips for DJs out there?
For upcoming DJs?
Upcoming DJs. Anything? Any advice?
Yeah, give me a tip, Ian. Come on.
You.
Help me!
I don't think you're doing pretty well. I don't think you need tips, but
Well, I'm not a DJ. Teach me a DJ.
I think. Look, the art of DJing itself, the DJing is not that hard.
No.
Yeah. So then it's what.
Don't tell everyone that. Jesus.
No, but the thing is, the extras. What is the extras you add? And that's what's the most important. Look, back in the days, and I'm talking 20, 30 years ago, one of the factors which was important was you having the vinyls.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you had to do the research. You had to go and buy them before they were all sold out, because you had limited copies on many vinyls. So if you didn't have it, you couldn't play it. So at that moment, your specialty would be, for example, being able to mix vinyl,
Which was hard. It's hard.
and find the right vinyls. The right
Having
songs,
relationships with the record shops.
having record shops, so you can
Under the counter.
So that was at that moment, your
DJ homework.
your thing that would make you a good DJ. But it changed because now everything is available. So that part that was important then, it's not any important anymore. So one, you can have any song you want. Yeah, you basically don't have to be able to DJ, because lots of people use the sync button or whatever. Yeah, so if everybody can do it, then you have to have something different. Yeah, and I still believe that having the right records is the ones that make the difference, because
choice.
everybody can mix. Everybody can mix. I went to somebody invited me for a DJ camp, to do a lecture or what is it, and the 12-year-olds, they were mixing really good. So everybody can do it. But then what's the extra that you give?
Yeah.
And now that all the other things disappeared, the extras is that you have the records. And if you look at the top 100 of DJs, and if you look at the biggest DJs, the most famous DJs, they all have their own releases.
Yeah.
So that's the minimum you have to have. You have to do your own mashups, you have to do your own mixes, and you have to do your own songs. And if you have a big song, you get booked. And if you don't have a big song, you're probably only being local DJ.
Did you heavily invest in the kit back in the day to get ahead?
In what?
In the equipment, the studio kit, the DJ kit?
You want to know a secret?
Yeah, come on.
I never ever in my life owned a DJ decks or a DJ gear. Never ever in my life.
I've never owned CDJs. I've still owned a pair of 1210s, but I've never owned CDJs because all the time I spent my time learning how to use them 1210s. Then as CDJs were introduced into clubs, I just practiced on them in clubs and never owned them. Yeah, I've never owned them.
I never owned any. I never owned nothing, no DJ gear ever in my life. I know my brother had the 1040s, so I was playing on his. But all the rest, I never had CDJs. The only thing I did is, because I'm a producer, I do know what to do. Yeah. So I knew how to make all my edits and everything. But then I just made all the edits to put it on a stick on a record box and then just, stick it in and play it.
So you can come and see Ian at 90s Baby on the Sunday of LooseFest this weekend.
Not this weekend.
Sorry, first weekend. First weekend.
Either I'm panicking that we've got LooseFest this weekend, or
first weekend.
We're really slowing down on the editing.
And you can see Phil hosting the Clubland live after party.
Correct.
So let's take a step back. Clubland is at the Arena. What day is that?
End of April. I don't actually know the
Okay.
date. End of April.
Yeah.
And then I've organised the official after party.
And that is at
the Powerhouse.
And who's performing?
Flip and Phil and Ultrabeat.
Nice.
But the arena's got a huge lineup, so more than likely you'll have to, Jonas from Bass Hunter there. Hopefully Sash will be there. Darren Styles. So I'm presuming most of them will turn up, have a few drinks, and hopefully practically everyone, I'm hoping, just like you did it.
Jonas is.
And have you got Finchy coming as well?
Yes. Yeah, Keys.
Well, obviously, sorry, I was going to say, obviously the boys you just mentioned there, plus obviously Ultrabeat, Flip and Phil are all on the LooseFest lineup on the Sunday for 90s Baby Day with yourself, so we'll have to try and pull one of them in and get them to jump on the pod while they're here. Well, that'd be good crack.
I'll see where I am at, actually. I don't know if I'm...
Love that.
Is it April 5th?
No, end of April.
It's a Thursday, we know that. It's a Thursday.
Thursday, end of April, do the maths. Right, any more questions before we wrap it up?
Well, we did have one on the Instagram.
Oh, yeah. I think I've got one, actually.
So, we've been asked by Lockpick Mick on Instagram, can you ask Ian, who was the best DJ you've worked with that never made it big time?
Me.
I mean, it's hard, because whoever the answer is,
because
people might know them.
No, but you could say anything, that's the whole problem, that it's, But, for example, I remember when I was younger, I was working with Glenn, and I have to sneeze. I was working with Glenn, and technically he was one of the best I ever saw on the vinyls, 4 decks, no problem. But the problem is you can be very technical, but then you need to have all the other things. Look, it's also a lot of luck. I have to be honest. You can say whatever. You can say, talent comes and all that. No, because there's a lot of people who have talent. They did a study on what's the most important factor in success all round. So not only with artists, but also with athletes and business people. And consistency is the number one. Not the talent, but consistency.
I guess the consistency is what gets you in that opportunity where you get your bit of luck, isn't it?
Because people can say, things are not happening, but how much music do you make? Look, I'm in the music professionally since 1996. That's...
you don't look that old.
Was that 28 years? No, is it?
Quick maths.
27?
So...
I was just working out my years, taking it off.
I still do music around 8 hours at least a day. after so many, not in the beginning,
Yeah.
but after so many years still, you know. That's what it takes.
I think you answered this question before, but we'll wrap up the podcast with this. This is from Paisley Steelman. Can you explain why people do build castles in the sky? I think she's asking why the meaning of the song is. I think you kind of alluded to it before.
It's kind of the impossible. I thought it was funny because it's like the impossible dream. Castle in the sky is an impossible dream. And basically, we were kids, you know, neighbors in a small village, because there's like 4,000 people where I live. Yeah, so it's two neighbors in a small village who have to compete against the music market, which is so big with so many artists. Yeah, so everybody will say it's impossible. It's impossible you beat the odds and get in the charts, and just the fact that that we managed, because I remember when we went in the charts, it was the same day as Michael Jackson and Janet Jackson was released, and we beat both of them.
Yes.
Yeah, the only thing we couldn't beat is Robbie Williams, because
he's a fucking
he was unbeatable.
What was that? Was that Angels? Which one was it?
Okay. Couldn't beat that. But
and he stole that song anyway.
Yeah.
So there you go.
I was going to say, I know we're wrapping it up now, but
glad you
obviously we've kindly been given these. I don't know if you want to explain. Do you want to explain them?
Yeah, so
And I guess
in Dutch we say op een blauwe maandag, yeah, which means it translates on a blue Monday, which means that like it's on the most average days of most average days. Yeah, I had the idea to just have my own gear. Nice. So
like I am, yeah.
So I made my own shoes, the Ian Van Dahl shoes, and then like on the inside, you know, you have the little castle in the sky.
Nice.
Do you wear these, not those specific ones, but do you wear your own trainers to your gigs?
Well, that was the plan, but then I never did.
So what, are we going to give these away, are we?
Yeah, I was thinking maybe it would be cool to do. So it's size, well, it's 42.
Which
so
we think might be equate to a 9, do we think?
9, I think, yeah.
9 UK.
9.
Yeah, 9 UK.
And what will we do? How are we gonna choose someone to give these shoes away to?
How you do it. So maybe
have we got a Sharpie here? Could we get Ian Van Dahl signed as well?
Yeah, we could sign it.
Yeah.
But maybe like when you do you broadcast it on the YouTube and then on Instagram, maybe you could have like people post or comment on it and follow me.
Let's get people to make sure they follow Ian Van Dahl on his socials and comment the best time you've ever seen Ian Van Dahl DJing, because I'm sure everyone who wants to win these has seen you play at some point. So in the comments, let's stick just, you don't have to put anything, but just write where the best place you've ever seen Ian Van Dahl DJ was, and we'll get the great man himself to pick a winner.
And don't panic if you're a size 10, still comment, you can probably just squeeze in and then we figure it out before.
And to be honest, you don't need to wear them, they're going to come signed. They could be prize position above some decks in a studio. They are collectors, they are collector pieces.
Yeah, there's actually like there's very few, like a couple of them. That's it.
Nice.
Perfect.
Right, well, thank you very much. Cheers, boys, and we'll wrap it up there. See you later. Bye.
Thanks. Bye.